The wind didn't just howl that evening in Sanders County, it roared like a freight train, twisting trees and slamming shutters with relentless fury. The sky morphed from blue to a sickly gray, then a menacing green that screamed apocalypse. Thunder rolled like distant bombs, growing louder, more ominous. In her kitchen, Sarah clutched the counter, her phone buzzing with a red alert. Take shelter immediately. EF4 tornado approaching. Her 6-year-old daughter, Lily, sobbed under the dining table, wrapped in a purple blanket. Sirens wailed outside, piercing the nerves. Sarah's heart pounded. This wasn't a drill, not a passing storm. It was a beast, and she knew where to run. The community storm shelter, a steel-reinforced concrete bunker 200 feet away, built 2 years ago by the HOA for moments like this. Scooping Lily into her arms, Sarah bolted into the chaos. Rain lashed sideways, stinging like shards of glass. The tornado loomed, a black funnel devouring the horizon, hurling debris like a malevolent god. Sarah shielded Lily, her breath ragged, the ground trembling beneath them. The shelter's squat outline appeared, a beacon of safety. She yanked the door handle. Nothing. Again, harder, still locked. A heavy chain and padlock gleamed mockingly. No, she gasped, pounding the steel. A soaked sign read, "Facility closed per HOA directive. Access restricted." Lightning illuminated the funnel, now terrifyingly close. Sarah's knees buckled, rage surging. "This can't be," she screamed, Lily wailing into her chest. The injustice seared hotter than the storm. Someone had chosen to lock them out, abandoning families to die. Neighbors emerged, frantic, some barefoot, others clutching pets, all converging on the shelter. The wind roared, trees bending impossibly. Mrs. Ellen, a widow, staggered over, her nightgown whipping. "This is our shelter," she cried. "We paid for it." No one answered. The door stood defiant. Tom, a young neighbor, shouted into his phone, "Mr. Larson, open the shelter now." Over speaker, Charles Larson, HOA chairman, replied coldly, "It's closed for sanitation violations. No evacuation permit was approved." "You should have left yesterday," Sarah screamed. "We're going to die." Larson's voice didn't waver. Responsibility was in the bulletin. The call cut off. Silence fell, save for the tornado's growl. Sarah shook the lock, helpless, as the funnel bore down. A black Ram truck idled nearby, its engine a low growl against the storm. The door opened, and out stepped John Callahan, a former SWAT veteran. Not tall, but his presence commanded space. Camouflage jacket faded, combat boots muddy, scars crisscrossing his weathered face. His eyes, sharp and calculating, assessed the scene with chilling calm. Sarah, his daughter, sprinted to him, Lily in her arms. "Dad, they locked it," she sobbed. John's gaze locked on the shelter, then the tornado, now a monstrous swirl. Without a word, he handed Lily back, patted her head, and strode to his truck. From a tarp-covered crate, he pulled a heavy duffel bag, olive green, marked with faded military insignia. Sarah's stomach knotted. "Dad, you can't blow it open." John's voice was steady. "They chose paperwork." "I choose you." He marched to the shelter, bag slung over his shoulder, unmoved by the wind's fury. John set a dented green case before the shelter door, the storm screaming around him. He opened it, revealing tools, wires, and a compact thermal breaching charge, military grade, not civilian. Neighbors stepped back, sensing danger. Crouching, John inspected the hinges, his fingers swift and precise, placing the device with a soft click. "Sarah," shielding Lily, pleaded, "is this legal?" John didn't look up. Tornado doesn't care about legal. He stood, wiping wet hands, and ordered, "Everyone, 30 feet back." Families retreated behind an oak, clutching each other. John held a remote, eyes on the door as debris flew like shrapnel. The funnel loomed, a roaring beast. He pressed the trigger. A muffled thump shook the ground, the door buckling with a metallic shriek. The chain snapped, the lock fell, and smoke curled from the hinge. John yanked the door open. "Go," he barked. Families surged in, parents with toddlers, elderly couples, a pregnant woman, moving with purpose. Sarah hesitated, Lily clinging to her. "You coming?" she asked. John shook his head. "Last in." She vanished inside, and John stood alone, rain-soaked, facing the storm. Inside, the shelter was dim, concrete walls cold but safe. A humming generator powered flickering lights. Dusty benches lined the walls, some broken from neglect. The air smelled of metal and rubber. John stayed at the door, checking vents, supplies, and the emergency hatch. He braced the door with rusted bench legs, ensuring stability. The tornado raged outside, shaking the shelter, dust falling in flurries. A distant crash echoed, something massive torn apart. A teen, holding his sibling, said, "We'd be gone without him." Murmurs of gratitude spread. Sarah, clutching a sleeping Lily, watched her father. She'd once mocked his drills and stockpiles as paranoia. Now, she saw a protector who defied bureaucracy to save lives. John sat on a crate, eyes on the door, listening to the storm's fury, his calm a shield for them all. Dawn's light pierced the shelter's hatch, revealing a world battered but standing. The storm had passed, leaving silence and debris. Families stirred, whispering relief, but anger simmered. A black SUV crunched gravel outside, and Charles Larson emerged, pristine in a suit, clutching a tablet. Two officers and a news van trailed him, cameras rolling. "James Callahan," Larson bellowed. "You're under arrest for unlawful entry, property destruction, and reckless endangerment. You detonated an explosive on HOA infrastructure." John stepped into the light, boots crushing glass. "I saved 37 people," he said, voice like steel. "Kids, elders, a pregnant woman." "You locked the door." Larson's jaw twitched. "It was closed for health violations." "You locked it," John repeated louder. "You ignored the alerts and laughed when they begged." Sarah held up her phone. "I recorded it," she said, playing Larson's dismissive voice. "Sanitation issues. Should have evacuated. Not our problem." His cold chuckle followed. Officers shifted, one eyeing Larson sharply. John crossed his arms. "Still want consequences?" Larson stammered. "This isn't about emotions. There are legal channels." Sarah snapped. "You left us to die." Neighbors stepped forward, a wall of survivors glaring at the man in the clean suit. An officer intervened. "Mr. Larson, hand over your tablet. We need a statement." Larson recoiled, but complied, the camera capturing his faltering composure. The story erupted, news replaying John's stand, the broken door, and Larson's call. Headlines screamed, "HOA locks shelter in tornado, veteran saves dozens." Public fury ignited, hashtags like #HOAFail and #HeroJohn trending. Petitions surged, crowds protested at HOA offices, veterans stood in solidarity. Larson's arrest for endangering lives followed, backed by video, audio, and witnesses. John's charges were dropped, deemed heroic under emergency defense. Sarah spoke to cameras, Lily at her side. "My dad didn't think," he acted, "because someone had to." The line echoed nationally. John shunned fame, sipping coffee on his porch as the town rallied. At a fire department ceremony, he attended quietly, boots polished. The room brimmed with survivors, responders, and officials, some sheepish. A banner read, "In gratitude for bravery beyond duty." When called, applause thundered, people rising, some weeping. Lily, in a green dress, clutched flowers. The chief draped a silver medal around John's neck, for courage in civil emergency. Lily shouted, "Thank you for not being scared, Grandpa." Laughter broke the silence, applause swelling. John lifted her, whispering, "Sometimes, doing right means your way." Sarah teared up, seeing not just a veteran, but a hero who reshaped their world. The county passed the Callahan Act, mandating open storm shelters during emergencies, no exceptions. Larson faced trial, his actions sparking debates. Was he a callous bureaucrat or a scapegoat for flawed systems? Some defended his rule following, arguing safety protocols mattered. Others saw him as a symbol of HOA tyranny, prioritizing paperwork over lives. Online, opinions clashed, John a vigilante or savior. At a community barbecue, survivors toasted John, Larson's empty house a silent testament. John watched Lily play, knowing true victory wasn't laws or medals, but a community rebuilt, stronger, safer, united against the storm.